Well, hello there again, family, friends, and loved ones. As you can see, we're out here on the front porch. It's a beautiful day, partly cloudy. Temperature's starting to warm on up, and we're finally starting to dry out. But the video I'm going to make today is a video that I knew at some point in time I'd have to make. It wasn't if I would ever make it, it was when I'd make it. And you might wonder from the title, it's never easy. And it is, it's never easy. You know, I read the comments, my videos, every last one of them. Try to reply when there's a question or when someone puts something in really personal, especially about a loss. That could be a family member, friend, a loved one, acquaintance, workmate, what have you. And I thought long and hard about this video. And I'm going to go ahead and make it, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And if this ain't, your cup of tea, well, then just walk on by. Because for many of y'all, you're not going to understand what the old man is so tore up about today. And has been. And now, I make it too because I know sooner or later y'all will notice. And you might wonder what the old man's talking about. And I'm talking about losing a close friend. Closer than many of my human friends have ever been in my entire life. I know those of you who've been with the channel a long, long time, and my children and grandson already know. This is about a furry friend. One that's been with me, or would have been, 19 years come this August. Yeah, that would be Trixie. My little queen of the house and the home place for nearly 19 years. And the very first day, nearly 19 years ago, when a wild dog attacked her mother and her brood of kittens under my neighbor's house, Billy's, which is one house to the south of me. Killing the mother, killing all the kittens but Trixie. Yep, and of course she wasn't Trixie then, but she soon would become. And somehow she got away, scampered across the south lawn to the back door steps, clawed her way up the outdoor carpet and on the steps, and was scratching and clawing at the screen door, screaming and crying. Now my kids, Ashley and James, were in the den, as was I, sleeping on the couch, catching a little nap in the late afternoon hours prior to making the night's dinner. They opened the door to see what it was all about, and that little bundle of fur wasn't much larger than the palm of my hand. In fact, she didn't really even fill out the whole palm of my hand. She basically was just in the palm. A tiny little thing she was. And she scampered across that carpet, clawed up the couch where I was laying, taking my nap. Made her way to the top of my chest and curled up right here in the little valley of my chest and fell asleep. Now the kids would wake me, and I would awaken to be staring eyeball to eyeball what, as many of y'all would know, would become my Trixie. And that little bundle of fur gray and white and fluffy as she was then, would grow into, a mature cat. She'd have one litter of kittens before she was spayed, one of which would become one of my favorites, Cabby, which became my daughter's kitty until she went in the Air Force and moved away. Of course, he would die later in 2009, 7 years later. Why? Because he liked birds. Couldn't keep him from eating them. Then he ate one and choked on it. I guess a bone. But anyway, that's how Trixie started her life. And she would be with me every day since that very day. Now at the time, it wasn't that I was a cat person or I was not. I guess you'd say I was indifferent. I could take kitties or leave them. My wife, my daughter, were the kitty people. Loved them to death. Me and my son, they were okay. We were more dog people. You know what I mean? That didn't deter Trixie. She latched a hold of me from that very first day. She never jihaded with the wife. In fact, it used to be sort of funny because God bless Chris, she tried to make Trixie her own. Trixie never would have it. In fact, Chris could walk by bare ankle and Trixie was bad to snatch out and swipe her one with her claws. It was rather hilarious, though the wife didn't think so. And that's the way it would always be. And every night since that very first day, Trixie would sleep with me, preferably on my chest or in my lower lap. Every night for nearly 19 years. And all over those years when I was working, I could leave the house. She'd come running and she'd sit down just outside the swing of the living room door. And I'd reach down and pet her. I'd tell her I'll see you when I get home. And I would leave. Never, not once, in all those years, did I ever open that front door and her not be right there looking up at that door. Now granted, do I think she was there the whole entire time waiting on me? Probably not. But she'd hear that truck or that car coming, just like times when she was out during the daytimes, because she used to stay out here on the property a lot, especially when I was out, except when I was mowing. Her and none of the kitties, which are now at my feet, Spooky, faithful companion outdoors, and now Speedy. Here, let me show you. Yep, even old Speedy is now at my feet, as is Spooky. But Trixie, as soon as she'd see that truck come back, whether I was going to Lowe's, Home Depot, Super Foods, Walmart, or whatever, she could be out in the cemetery, over in the big woods, maybe over there in neighbor's red dawn tree or wherever. When she saw that truck and heard it, which is what I drove primarily back then, here she'd come darting across. And always she'd meet me right here where we're at now on the front steps. Rubbing all over. So happy to see that Papa was home. I mean, that was even better than my children or my wife. Of course, they'd be inside and they'd be, happy to see the old man made it back too. But then the wife was no longer here. The kids grew up and moved away. But the one thing that remained the same and would be there every day when I left for work and every day when I returned. It was that little bundle of gray and white fur and those big bright eyes looking up as soon as that door opened. And she knew when I should have been home. And I worked a lot of overtime. A lot of it was unscheduled. Far too much. And she'd know when I was late. But that didn't mean she wouldn't be there. I mean, I worked nights. Should have been home by 1. But many nights it'd be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, sometimes 8 or 11 o'clock the next day. It depended on the day of the week. The more later mornings would be on Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings when the old man had to close the factory down for the lack of third shift man not showing up. Which over the course of my last 8 years working happened far too many times. One of the reasons I retired, just couldn't take it no more. But she'd always be there. She'd always be in the kitchen when I was cooking. And as soon as I'd walk in the kitchen and she'd hear me rustling up pans and pots and opening the fridge or freezer or whatever, here she'd come. And she'd be right down by my feet. Which, you know, in the beginning was a nuisance. Over time, I learned to maneuver around it, and rather than pick my feet up, I shuffled. So I wouldn't step on her tail anymore. Or paw. Yep, I was guilty of that too. And over the years, I'd always set aside something for her and the other kiddies. Because there's always been more than one, but once the other kiddies had passed, my wife's and Jake passed in 05, Eddie passed in 06, Trixie became the sole queen to the house. And she would remain that way. Cabby Doo, he would come in to eat, he'd stay outside, except when it was bitter cold or he wasn't feeling well. Later on down the road, there would be Merlin, and he was the same way. He'd come in to eat, spend some time, and he'd go back outside. Now there were times when Merlin would stay in, here again, during the colder season in the winters. Trixie never became his friend. Didn't much care for him. And she didn't much care for her own child, Cabby Doo. And as many of y'all have seen, Trixie was very possessive. You know, because we had to bring Gracie in. Otherwise, Gracie would have died. And for the longest time, Trixie was real hard on Gracie. But I'll give old Gracie credit. Well, not old, she's still a little youngin'. She continued on. She loved that old cat to death. And over the last month or two, she was always with her, leading her through the house, because many of y'all know Trixie was nearly blind, if not totally. Look, you two, are y'all playing or fighting? I don't know. Just like children. But anyway, I guess you figured out by now what the video is about. The video is about losing a dear friend, and that friend had a furry coat, big brown, yellow eyes. Sometimes not a sweet purr, but a screech. And could be a curmudgeon at times. Picky eater. And very possessive. And yes, Trixie has passed away. Right here in her home. Now Monday night, this is Thursday, June 24th, but Monday, she slept with me like normal. Just a light purr. And I know many of y'all who watched the video with the walkabout we did with Trix, where I said you got to take time with the ones you love. I'm so glad I took that time. Of course, I've been spending a lot of time with Trix, because I knew. I could tell by how she got up, how she walked. Her time was coming. And actually, this weekend, I talked with a good friend down in Louisiana, Regan. And even though I've said I wouldn't take her in and have her euthanized as long as she wasn't in pain, as long as she was able to eat and drink and do all that, and I've had animals all my life, so I know. But in talking with him over the weekend, I'd come to the decision that maybe it was time. And on Monday, I hesitated. I didn't make the call. I said, okay, she's still, mobile. She's still eating and drinking. When I pick her up, I hold her. She's still purring. So I put it off one more day. Why? Because I didn't want to lose a friend. Especially one that's so close to me. So we laid down on the couch. As always, I put on a YouTube video because I knew I'd fall asleep during it. And I and Trixie fell asleep. Sometime during the wee hours of Tuesday morning, she got up. I barely woke up, figured she was going to get some food or water or use a litter box. It wouldn't be until later that morning when I awakened and rose to make coffee and such. I think it was around 7. That, I was wondering, well, where's old girl at? But she always had her other places where she'd curl up and nap. And she did sleep a lot. And y'all know, anybody with older cats knows. They get older, they sleep more and more. It's not like cats don't sleep a lot in the first place. They do. So I wasn't real concerned about it. But as the morning progressed, I cleaned up the kitchen, did my chores, I went outside, did a few things, came back in the house a little before 11 a.m. And she wasn't in the kitchen. She wasn't on the couch. Wasn't on her favorite blankie on the big chair. Wasn't in my desk chair, another one of her favorite places. Or on top of the couch, love seat, or any of those. So I thought, well, where's the old girl at? Now she had been using some other places just to avoid Gracie. Because Gracie's, young, less than a year old still. Gracie's all about wanting to play, be mischievous. Older cats aren't, and Trixie wasn't. She wanted to be left alone. So I thought, okay, I looked behind things and still couldn't find her. But one of her places, I guess because it was cooler and more secluded, Trixie from time to time had always liked to curl up on the base of my dining room table. It's got a flat base with a center pedestal. And she'd curl up there, I guess the wood's cool, and sleep. Not all the time. But I guess since we brought Grace in the house, more times than not, unless she was with me, I guess it was just her way of hiding from Gracie. So I lifted up the tablecloth, and sure enough, there was Trixie, curled up in a ball, had her head tucked into her belly. And there's been many times over the last few months where, I've really had to reach down and check the old girl to make sure she's still breathing. Worried about her. And this time, I got down on my hands and knees and got myself up under there to do that same check. But this time, I wouldn't get the answer I wanted. Because sometimes between Trixie jumping down, head off into the kitchen, and then that morning, to when I walked in and found her around 11 a.m., she'd passed away. And it appears she passed away in her sleep. And if I had to ask for any better way for her to go, or when it comes my time to go in your sleep, that's the way I'd want it too. Just lay down, close your eyes. And in my beliefs, if you've lived right, and you have great faith, great belief, you wake up in heaven. And it's also in my belief, and it may not be in yours, that beloved animals can do the same. Now, there may be one day when the old man passes on, and I find that's not the case. But up until that point, I'll continue to believe it is. And I know some don't believe in heaven, don't believe in the afterlife. Not only for animals, but for man or woman or humankind. I do. That's my belief and that's my faith. And you know one thing about it is, should I be wrong, I won't ever know. Have you ever realized that? People argue, they fight, lose friends, family, hell. Different groups go to war, kill each other. Countries go to war over this, when it really don't matter. If you're wrong about it, just think about this for a second. If you're wrong and there is nothing left after this, you won't even know. Because there's nothing left. You're done. End of story when we close our eyes here. So why get all tore up, fight, argue, and kill each other over that? Sort of, when you look at it in that perception, rather stupid, isn't it? The same way, whether I believe animals go with us and await us or not. If I'm wrong, I won't know. And you know what? If you're right, when it's your time to go, you won't know either. You won't even know you's right. So why do we, as a human race, continue this shit? Just a little rant there. Speedy. Oh, is your eye watering some more? Well, we'll give you some more treatment, okay? Now there you were, right underneath my feet. And as soon as I start petting you and show you loving, you got to get away. Okay? And Papa will put some more antibiotics in that eye later. Right, Spook? You'll just move into where she was. Look at you grinning. things gonna be different here. Cooking's gonna be different. I know many of you love my cooking videos, and you watch them, and you always hear Trixie in the background, or you'll see her pacing back and forth. Now you also see Gracie too. Trixie will, just like my last cooking video where we did those stuffed or unstuffed peppers, you could hear Trixie in the background screaming for her hamburger. Now granted, she got it. Oh yeah. No onions, no garlic, nothing but a little sea salt and pepper, just like she likes it. And Gracie got some. Spooky and Speedy and Cleo. And yeah, Cleo, she's been coming more often. She was just here last night in the evening feeding. In fact, I told her to stick around because all of y'all were worried about her. Hadn't seen her in a while, so I could go in and get the camera. I went ahead and took it off the charger, threw it in the holder, came out there and got it for, and you'll see it towards the end of this video, if that's to your liking. So y'all, this ain't been about a pity party or sympathy for the old man. As you know, I'm an analytical person. I'm a realist too. I'm not a pessimist or an optimist. I guess, the best way to describe me, I'm a realist. It is what it is, and life goes on. Now, since I am a senior, and except for the kitty crew, Trixie and Gracie, I do live alone. My son comes by from time to time when he can, which I appreciate. I do have friends come by and chat a while, and that, but because of state of affairs, we don't throw down in the house. In fact, nobody's been in the house, now for going on a year and a half. And it'll remain so till everything clears on up. That's just me. Might not be you. But I do have Gracie in the house. And I do have Gracie in the house. And she was the princess. Now, she is the queen. And the monarchy of the home place continues. And you might wonder, and I know some of you have commented before, especially when we did that walkabout video with Trixie, will Gracie be affected and all of that? And Gracie looks. She realizes Trixie is no longer with us. It's rather obvious. I only make one bowl of special food now. It's just hers. She no longer has two where she can steal all the Trixie's when Trixie leaves, like she used to do. And then Trixie would come in and eat the rest of Gracie's. Gracie would try to save hers, but Trixie would get her back. That was rather funny, by the way. So she knows. And she knows Trixie isn't curled up on my chest no more at night. Just like last night. And the night before. Gracie slept in my lap. Sort of kind of where Trixie used to. Last night, I'll be doing that a lot, folks, so you have to pardon me. Saying Trixie when I'm eating Gracie. But Gracie was above me, my head curled up with one paw on top of my head. And that's where we fell asleep last night. I will miss my dear sweet friend, Trixie, for some time to come. I would think, to the day I die. Just like I miss every day Merlin, Cabby Doo, Shayna Lee, Jake, Ed, and Casey. And you might wonder, you know, why I don't throw family names and friends in there. Well, I could, but that's not what this video is about. It's not about the humans in my life, but it's about the furry friends that have been in my life and made it so much fuller and enriched than it would have been without them. So I know, because I read the comments, so many of you have lost a beloved pet in your life. Far too many of you have not made the decision to have another one enter your life. I do hope you will change your minds and adopt or rescue another furry friend, whether that be a kitty, a dog, a lizard, reptile, snake, whatever you want. It could be a chicken. My little brother down in Texas, you know, Les, he's a chicken man. Well, he does got one cat, but he's primarily a chicken man. That's his thing. I'm just saying. Well, my other brother Regan over in Louisiana, he's got a pile of kitties, I think about 14, but then he's got like, you know, 60 chickens. So he's sort of like our little brother Les. But anyway, y'all, I've rambled along a while. My eyes got a little cloudy from time to time. I hope you forgive the old man for wasting your time. If this ain't all about you. But we'll get back to our regular videos here shortly. It's going to take time for Mr. Tom to process it. I'm going to grieve a while, and I've been grieving. And I can tell even the outdoor kitty crew knows something still just ain't quite right. But with every day, like I know, whether it's with my passing of one of my family, my father, my mother, what have you, even my child, life will improve day by day if you allow it to. But with a furry friend, allowing it to starts with adopting or rescuing that new furry friend. I have no need, because if y'all look back in videos when Merlin passed, I did a video. When one goes, I'm not sure what the title was, but when one goes, another comes. And that's when Magoo, which I still see on occasion, trying to get him on camera, came into my life. And then Cleo came in, and the whole kitty crew came. So there y'all have it. I hope this finds y'all all happy, well, and safe with your furry friends, your family, friends and loved ones. It's old Mr. Tom, Gracie, Spooky, Speedy, sometimes Cleo, and occasionally El Magoo. See you on the next video. Goodbye for now. Speedy, I gotta go on in. Yep. I'll bring you out some treats in a bit. I just ain't got it in me right now. You got food, you got water. I'll be back out. Okay? Cleo, are you here with us today? You know what? Your viewers and fans have been missing you. Yeah. They wonder about you and they ask. And here you are, right in there with Spooky and Speedy. So glad you could visit us this evening for the evening chow. Yep. Many people ask about you, Cleo.
They wonder. And here you are. So I appreciate it that you came by. Yeah, you Papa girl. You still Papa girl, of course you're hungry. And that's my Spook, ever faithful. Right, Spook? You'll always stop eating if you can be with Papa. Of course, there's my little queen, the princess, Princess Speedy, or, for those of you who don't know, her middle name's Sophia. Of course, she answers Speedy. We tried Sophia. She just looks at me like, you stupid, I'm Speedy. Just try to grab me and see. So anyway, I thought it would be nice to show you all that yes, indeed, Cleo comes when she feels the desire to come and grace us with her presence, which here of late has been more than not. Of course, Mr. Tom's outside more than not. But you can all see. Cleo's looking fine, her coat's looking fine. Yep, gotta throw a new flea collar on. Now I gotta try to get one on Spooky and Speedy. Now Spooky, I think will be okay. But Speedy, that'll be a trick. And as you can see, Cleo's still the curmudgeon now. At least out in the yard. So there you have it. Cleo wanted to pop on in and make a cameo appearance, or guest appearance, I guess as they would say, on TV. Just to show you she was all fine and well too. Okay guys, I'm going to leave you to eat, okay? Spooky, go over and eat, okay? I'll come out in a bit and sit with you a while, okay? Later on.